include staging crews at stations that are normally unmanned, such as Pritchard, I-10, Dwyer, DPS 10, DPS 16. Additional staffing will be present to supplement regular personnel at the other manned stations throughout the event. We have addressed the recent operation issues at DPS 7 through revised procedures and protocols and retraining of staff. The additional staff to be staged at the pump station will also ensure that the events of July 11th are not repeated. As part of our storm preparation, our operations teams have already begun lowering the canal levels to increase stormwater storage capacity and cleaning catch basins throughout the system. We also encourage residents to help by removing debris on the outside of a catch basin if they see that. Please note, residents should know that during periods of intense rainfall, localized street flooding can occur. Our drainage system is designed to handle approximately 1 inch of rainfall during the first hour and a half inch after that. As an example, if an area receives 3 inches of rain in an hour, it will take 5 hours for that water to drain from the system. Sewerage and Water Board crews are responding to 311 calls for services in preparation for this event. They will also focus on cleaning the catch basins at underpass stations as well as in mid-city. Contractor crews are working in Treme, Lower Garden, and starting on Audubon Street near Tulane this week. If needed, after the event, the contractors can provide additional crews to supplement SWBNO's staff in responding after the storm. So far this year, we have removed 3.5 million pounds of debris from the minor drainage system. Reliable power remains critical during severe weather. The commissioning of Power Complex has strengthened our system reliability. We will use the Sullivan substation as the primary power station for the new static frequency changers, FSCs, during the inclement weather event. Based on the lessons learned from the tropical storm Arthur, we have adjusted the static frequency changers to better withstand significant voltage sags. These improvements are designed to help the FCS remain online during significant voltage fluctuations. The FSFCs and substations have been used in 2 major rain thunderstorms since that event, and there have been no issues. And of course, I'm referencing the rainstorms of July 7th and July 11th. The power complex worked as it was designed during those 2 major storms. We currently have 87 of 93 major drainage pumps available for service. However, at each station, there are additional and temporary pumps in place as a second measure of protection. At the Carrollton Underpass, a temporary pump has been installed while the station's 3 permanent pumps remain out of service. All other underpass pumping stations are operational and available for weather events. Currently, we have sufficient power sources to meet the demand of our drainage system. We encourage residents to monitor conditions closely and remain weather aware throughout the storm. Customers can visit our pumping and power dashboard for real-time updates on our pumps and power status. We will continue to monitor conditions around the clock and do everything we can to remain transparent and provide information to you so that you can protect yourself and your families. Thank you, and please stay weather aware.
How much additional capacity does lowering the canals increase?
Okay, I asked our superintendent to come up and assist.
Yeah, so one of the purposes of lowering the canal levels is, as you said, to provide some additional storage capacity. That's going to depend on each station, but we do know that if we can keep the canal levels lower before some rain comes, that just helps us be able to respond faster.
One of our reporters spoke with Councilwoman Amy McCarron not too long ago, saying that this was going to be a test for the Sewerage and Water Board system as well as its leadership. Do you guys see that as a test, or are you worried about your leadership capabilities or your position as a whole as City Council trying to more oversight over you guys?
Well, I've been a leader in water for over 26 years. I've helped lead over 3 major cities in this issue. We are prepared, and I take every major rainstorm and every small rainstorm as a test. It's our job to do everything we can to protect the health and safety of our community and to protect property as we can. And so we take it very seriously. Every rainstorm is important to us, and everyone is a test of our preparedness. And we're doing everything we can to be on the right side of making the corrections needed and delivering and protecting the health and safety of our community.
And as far as the drainage pump station that had the human error from the last storm, any other stations going through similar trainings to ensure that something like that also doesn't happen across the system?
I'll let our superintendent talk in a little more detail. I know for that station, DPS 7, we've had 2 in the past individuals there. We'll have 3 to 4 there. We've looked at our protocols, we've looked at our practices, and we've made corrections. And so we'll increase the number that is there to 3 to 4, and we're determined to do anything that's needed across the system to make it sustainable.
Yeah, I'll just add to that any event such as occurred on July 11th is an opportunity for us to look at our processes and procedures. And so, as we've learned more about that event, and particularly the operation of the vacuum system, that's an opportunity for us to look at all the stations and make sure that all the staff are very comfortable with the procedures.
So, can you share any more details on what did happen at DPS 7 on the 11th, and has there been any disciplinary action in that?
Yeah, so again, there was errors around operating the vacuum system. We have simplified our procedures around that operation, have retrained staff, and are reposting some of those procedures so that it's very clear. The key here is retraining, and I really cannot speak to disciplinary action at this time, but the key is retraining and making sure everybody's aware and comfortable with the procedures.
All right. Thank you for outlining your changes that you made and that we've learned over the summer. Heading into this system, are there any pain points or concerns about weaknesses in the system? What specific ones are those?
Yeah, so I would encourage everybody to take a look at our pumping and power dashboard. That is where we publish the current status of our equipment. As we mentioned, we have 87 of 93 pumps available. Each of those stations does have either additional pumps or temporary pumps at those locations. But as Randy mentioned, we take every event seriously, and it's every event is serious, and we want to make sure that we have the enhanced staffing when needed to be able to do that, and we're ready to do so.
Any other questions? Can you explain what the issues with the power complex were previously that led you to make those adjustments, and sort of how you were able to make those adjustments?
So the events that where there's previous voltage sags on the transmission system that impacted our equipment, as soon as the details that became a little bit clearer to us, we were in touch with the manufacturer and were able to reduce those settings to allow for a wider range of voltage fluctuations for the frequency changers to remain online.
Do you have confidence that the power complex will be able to work as intended, given with those changes?
Yeah, I do. I think there's still testing that needs to be done, right? We want to test the power complex in as many different configurations as possible, and so there's opportunities for us to do that. But the settings adjustment are a good first step in mitigating the risk.